Wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk to you about how we actually implement the Real Man program. First of all, we always start off teaching the acronym and what it stands for. So this is something we do in the first week when we introduce the program. The R stands for respect all people, respect everyone. The E, especially women. The A, always do the right thing. And the L, live a life that matters. When we talk about respect, this is an important concept that we give our athletes and our students. You respect people because of who you are, not because of who they are. Now, I want you to think about that. Kid will come in and they got in trouble and they end up in ISS, so they can't play, and maybe they're suspended for the week, whatever your school rules are. And you say, how come you were disrespectful to the teacher? And they'll say something like, well, the teacher was disrespectful to me. And this is where we get to teach that lesson. You don't respect people because they're the teacher, they're the principal. You respect them because of who you are inside. Respect is not only a sign of respecting someone else. It is a sign that you have strength inside of you. And I think it's really important that we explain to them that regardless of what's happening around you, the decisions that you make are about you being your best, regardless of circumstance. It never helps you to drop to someone else's level. All right. When we teach respect, we talk about time. See, when you're late, you're telling other people you don't respect their time. Being on time is something that takes no talent. So we incorporate that into things, and we tell them, when you have a job someday, what are you going to learn? You have to be on time. You have to be where you're supposed to be. And if you're not going to be there, you're going to be late. What do? You make a phone call before. You don't call after. You call before there's an issue. You let people know ahead of time. And I think that's an important life lesson to teach. We typically, and I'll talk about how we do this, but typically we're going to spend 8 to 10 minutes a day. Now, the first week, we typically will go 15 minutes a day. Sometimes we'll have a discussion as we talk about different issues that will go a little bit longer. What we're going to do is find a good stopping point, and we'll pick up the next day where we left off. Sometimes day one takes 2 or 3 days to get through, and that's a good thing. But I want to talk to you about the importance of, so in the old days when we taught character way back when, we had books and every kid had a workbook, and with the Real Man program, we don't use a workbook. All right. We may occasionally have the kids write something down, but we want this to be something that you can implement on the field, in the weight room. You don't necessarily have to be in a classroom setting. Now, after we get through day one, we're going to get into day two, where we're going to have a coach talk about the definition of a real man in their own words. And we're going to do this relatively quick. We want that to be about a 2-minute thing. And then we're going to talk about respecting women. We're going to talk about it. That girl you date probably isn't going to be your wife. That girl you're dating when you're a 10th or 11th or 12th grader, you're probably not going to marry her. A few are. But that girl that you're dating is going to be someone else's wife. How do you want them taught before that day comes? We talk about that girl that's sitting next to you in class. That's someone's daughter's, that's someone's sister. That person that you see at the store, that's someone's mother, wife, cousin. How would you want them treated? And no matter what happens, we don't raise our hands to a woman. We talk to them about how we need to treat women who are the queens of the earth. Now, the way the Real Man program is set up, and I'll get to this in a minute, is, there's 4 downs and then there's overtime. This is an example of a second down lesson that we would cover on that day 2. And we're going to talk about what defines a real man and what doesn't define a real man. Day 3, we talk about doing the right thing. Always do the right thing. That's the A. We always want to do the right thing. Before you make a decision, is this going to help you get closer to your goals or farther from it? If it's going to take you farther from your goals, you probably don't want to do it. Now, when we go through this, we also talk about the fact we're going to make mistakes. What do we do when we make a mistake? Don't run from it. Admit it, learn from it, and then don't do it again. Find a new mistake to make. We typically have a coach present for 5 minutes. Now, I like having coaches present. I like having players present, but you got to set a timer. Some people will go too long. You want this to be 3 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes max. All right. We're going to hand them the first and 10 handout on the 10 myths of manhood. We're going to break into small groups to go through this. So a lot of what we're going to do, and I'm going to talk to you a little about the implementation week to week, is spend some time in small groups. This is what the 10 myths of manhood that looks like, the first 3 of them that I took a screenshot of right out of the Real Man program. Day 4, we're going to talk about living a life that matters. We want our guys to be successful and our girls to be successful. And then we want them to come back and give back. We want to include some volunteer work and some opportunity to help others. We talk to them about how people are going to look up to your guys. There's a little kid wanting to wear their jersey number. They don't get to choose. You're a role model. You don't get to pick it. All right? They're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what they see you do. So we talk about that impact. And then day 5, we review and recap for the week. We define mental toughness, which is the ability to overcome adversity and failure without a loss of effort, attitude, and enthusiasm. It's the ability to overcome negative events, all right, without becoming angry, without getting upset, looking for solutions instead of laying blame. And we're going to talk about how their decisions are their character. See, your character is your the sum of your beliefs and your behaviors. All right. We reiterate that we love them unconditionally. We're going to love you as much on your worst day as we do on your best day. On day 5 each week, you know, it's game day, it's payday, whatever your program calls it. But day 5 is guest speaker day. So whatever our theme of the week is, whatever we've been talking about, we're going to bring a speaker in. We're going to tell the speaker you have 5 to 10 minutes max. All right. Now, this is what our typical week would look like. So after that first week, I like using the 2-minute drill of the Real Man program. But we also will take some lessons out of the big book. You know, when you get the box set, you get several books with it. It's really cool. You get several different resources that you can use. We assign different coaches to different weeks and different activities, but we meet Monday through Friday. I like to do it right before practice or during the season, weight room in the off season, immediately after the bell rings for them to come down and see us. Mondays are a team day. All right. We're introducing something as a team. We're going to have someone speak and introduce it. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're going to meet in small groups. We're going to have, you know, the groups are going to be determined by the number of coaches we have. If we have 50 players and 10 coaches, we're going to be in groups of 5. If we have 50 players and 3 coaches, you know, we're going to be in groups of 16. But we're going to meet in small groups. And Thursdays, we're going to come back together and talk about what we discussed in our small groups. We're going to share back. And then Friday, we're going to have a speaker come in. If you're only going to do this 3 or 4 days a week, you just adjust it accordingly. I always tell people it's 25 minutes a week. That's how much time you're going to invest. You're not spending. See, spending, you're putting something out and not getting anything in return. When you invest, you get something reciprocated back exponentially. All right. You're gaining interest. You're not just getting back what you put in, you're getting back more. So I usually like to say at max 8 to 10 minutes a day. We're going to usually go 5. Monday, meet as a team. Different coach introduces the lesson of the week. Tuesdays and Wednesdays in our small groups, 8 to 10 guys is optimal. Thursday, meet as a team, share what we learned in our groups. Friday, competition day in the off season. Game day during the season. Bring in a speaker to talk about that theme of the week, something inspirational. Now, here's what I want to leave you with. We have a tremendous opportunity to change the lives of our student athletes. We get to break a cycle that really has, is destroying families, schools, and our country as a whole, because we're not raising men. All right, strong men. Being able to put kids through the Real Man program helps them to be able to grow. Now, I use this as a girls coach also. All right, the lessons, we just adapted them, made a couple little adjustments, but we're going to use our influence as coaches to help our players make better decisions in the future. And what this was about, that's what Frank wanted, Frank DeCoco, when he developed this program, was he wanted to equip people that work with young people. He wanted to equip leaders, coaches, teachers, school administrators, parents, pastors at churches, anybody that works with kids to give them tools to help those young people have a better chance of success in their life, to give them the skills they're going to need to be successful. One of the things that comes down to that is we need to help young people see themselves for the greatness they already have inside and their true self-worth. Coaches, teachers, we can't walk around and give people greatness. Here's your greatness for the day. Here's your greatness. They already have it. You got to tell your players that. I'm not going to give you greatness. I can't. You already have it inside of you. All we're trying to do is find the best way to pull it out. And for each young person, it's going to be a little bit different. But we need to help them develop that true value of their self-worth, their importance. The definition of attitude is an outward expression of your inward beliefs. If somebody has negative outward expression and what we would call a negative attitude, it's because that's how they see themselves inside. We're using this program to develop that positive attitude and that ability to see the worth that they have inside so that they can go on and be successful in their life. I'm going to put a link down below so you can learn more about the Real Man program, so you can order it. We're here to help you, but I wanted to just show you that in 25 minutes to 50 minutes a week max, you can make a huge influence on your young people, the young people that you work with, and help them to be more successful in their life.